Des of Peg and Des on Princesses Long Island. Peg is still on vacation. I'm still holding this fort down, and we still have a lot of talk to do. So this week was the season finale of Princesses. And of course, we had to see the aftermath of the Ashlee incident. Because remember, last week, we saw Ashlee on the highway, Sixth Sense style. We see her, then we don't. And Chanel's running down Montauk highways looking for her. Come to find out, Ashlee hitchhiked her way to a hospital where she unceremoniously had a panic attack. The thing that I couldn't understand about the Ashlee story, I mean, granted, Ashlee was working for the drama. I don't care what anyone has to say about why she went to the hospital, how she managed to get there. This was all a drama-fueled event, and purposely done so. Because if you recall, her father said to her, get to the owner of the vineyard, ask him or her for some car service, and come on home. It was as simple as that. And then Ashlee, of course, returned and said, well, can you get me a jet instead? There was that whole, I need a G5 because I'm especially distraught conversation. But she never did that. She went out on the highway, she caught a ride with a stranger, went to the hospital, wasn't answering her phone during the process. Chanel was clearly very worried about her, but the other girls weren't. We'll get to them in a second. And they had to give her Benadryl at the hospital. I don't know whose drama got on my nerves more this episode. I'm not sure if it was Ashlee or Chanel about Ashlee. Granted, Chanel is Ashlee's best friend. Granted, Ashlee had some really tough times a year ago. That's something that we learned during this episode, that she had a stroke. However, the way Chanel behaved about Ashlee's episode was insane. I mean, absolutely insane. And I don't know if that was just kind of offset by how the other girls were behaving, but I was just looking in that camera as Chanel's mascara were dripping down her face, and I was thinking, girl, this is a whole lot you're doing right now. A whole lot over a hitchhike, a panic attack, some Benadryl, and a trip to a Montauk hospital. So the other girls throughout all of this are having a grand old time. Erica, Joey, and Amanda, they're on the booze cruise, having the time of their life, jumping off the boat, drinking champagne. I saw a couple nip slips. I mean, it just looked like it was the time of a lifetime. And Erica, of course, tells everyone on the boat that she's quick to steal someone's man. I don't know if anybody noticed that, but Erica definitely owned her role as a man stealer on the boat. But the girls learn on the boat that Ashlee is in trouble and that she's in the hospital, and everyone feels badly, right? You got that, feels badly. It's that kind of feel badly where you sit there as you sip your champagne and you say, ooh, it is so terrible that she's going through that. This is me swirling champagne. Ooh, it's so terrible that she's going through that. Girl, I feel so badly for her. Pass me that. That type of feel badly. I'm glad I'm not there. That's really what that is. So when the girls get back and life is supposed to return to normal, Chelsea, who is apparently an extra from The Godfather, has a sit down with Amanda, during which she tells Amanda that under no circumstance would she have ever left Ashlee, and under no circumstance would she have ever treated a friend the way she did. And it just goes on and on. She starts talking about loyalty. I was waiting on her mafia voice. I was waiting on her to pull out a cigar and say, you know, it's just one of those things. I mean, the way she was behaving was just so interesting to me, because my understanding of Chelsea's relationship with Ashlee is that it's on the strength of Chanel, right? Chelsea and Chanel are friends, to my understanding. Chanel and Ashlee are friends. Chelsea is introduced to Ashlee, and over the course of a couple of months, they build a friendship. Now, everyone wants friends to be loyal, but there's nothing worse than that pseudo-loyalty. You know what I'm talking about. That I've known you for 5 minutes, therefore we hold each other down, except when it really matters. Just peep that. I'm sure, I mean, I've had those kinds of friends too. You know, where you just get to know each other for a little bit. Everybody feels like they're ace boom coon. And then something real happens and it's not quite the same. But Chelsea in this moment is making all kinds of declarations about what Amanda, Joey, and Erica should have done on the trip, telling them that they're terrible people, and it just goes on and on. So Chanel asks everyone to do a little tashlik. I love that Jewish lesson that I got. One thing I can count on Chanel for is a good Jewish lesson. Chanel is the Jewiest Jew on the show. I mean, she is just entrenched in it. Every time I look at her, I think about the Torah. I want to say L'chaim, because she's just very much entrenched in her faith. And I just love the lessons that she hits us with. So she tells everyone that tashlik is an opportunity to go to some water and toss some bread in the water, and in turn, toss away all of the things for which you should be sorry. And she asks all the girls to come together, have a discussion, talk about what they're apologetic for, and then toss some bread into the water. So all the girls show up. Erica is in her grandmother's dress, and everyone starts talking. Some girls get the tashlik memo. Some girls don't. Here's what I mean. The tashlik memo is, come out, talk about forgiveness, talk about what you're sorry for, ask for forgiveness. I believe that that's the tashlik memo, right? Amanda opens her mouth and starts talking about what makes her life amazing. My business is doing well. Jeff is amazing. He gave me a promise ring. And then she says she couldn't get engaged the way she wanted to get engaged. And I'm thinking, where's your tashlik? So then we move on to Erica. Erica got the tashlik memo. I think it was her grandmother's dress that put her there, but she got the tashlik memo. She looked at Chelsea. She apologized for her transgressions against Chelsea. And Chelsea was hitting her with a lot of hard, bitter, angry face. And Erica continued to apologize. She apologized to Ashlee, I believe. And that was that for Erica. Joey apologized, which was wonderful. Chanel apologized, also wonderful. Chelsea did this interesting thing where she forgave herself for being angry for so long. And on the strength of Iyanla Van Zant, that is the kind of healing that you need to do. But Chelsea, I don't believe, feels like she's done anything wrong. I think that she is very sanctimonious at tashlik. But none more sanctimonious than our girl Ashlee. Mother was giving us, I ain't never been wrong in my whole life. And I just wish that you can be as amazing as me. That's really what she said. I wish that you could have a life like I have. My life is so amazing. I wish you could get like me. It reminded me of that David Banner song, Stunting is a Habit. Get like me. And Ashlee proceeds to tell the girls about her stroke. And as she was talking about it, I was wondering if the reason her parents treat her the way they do is because of that incident the year prior. I would have liked to have seen what her interactions with her parents were like prior to having the stroke, because I do know that when something like that happens to a child, parents tend to become overprotective. So I'm wondering if that's what all the babying and the mothering is about from her mother and her father. But either way, everyone throws some bread in the water, and it seems like all may be forgotten, but it's pretty clear that these girls still have some issues with one another. Now, before we wrap up everything that is princesses, we have to talk about the world's most peculiar engagement, or not engagement. Jeff takes Amanda on the LIRR. They hit the train, and they're on the train talking about how much they're in love with each other. Amanda's doing a lot of nervous laughter. It's clear that she's feeling a little funny, and Jeff is pouring out his heart. I love the things that Jeff was saying. I just wish he was saying them in somebody else's voice. I know Jeff can't control his voice. I mean, I know that. I know you are born with a certain set of vocal cords, a certain tone, and a certain pitch. But Lord have mercy, that man's voice is one for the ages. I almost wish he had signed it to her, just, you know, like, I love you. Because it was just so tough on my ears. But the message was beautiful. And he tells her that he's going to give her a ring. pulls a ring box out. She's covering her mouth. She's super excited. And then he opens the box, tells her it's a promise ring. And I'm like, promise to what? What does that mean? Does that mean you're promising to ask me to marry you? Or are you promising to marry me? Are we now engaged or are we still dating? Are we gonna move in together? I mean, I had a lot of questions in that situation, and I probably would have ruined it if I'd been the woman there. That's probably why I find myself by myself so much, because I have too many questions. But I had a lot of questions for Amanda. She looked happy. She looked like she was very excited, and hopefully they're on the path to engagement. We'll see what happens next for them. Maybe, maybe not. I can't quite tell if Bravo's going to renew this show, but I do know that I have outstanding questions. Like, what's gonna happen to Kismet? Is Joey's father gonna make her sleep outside? Is Ashlee ever going to do anything for herself and her household? Is Chanel ever gonna find a man? What's gonna happen to Erica and Rob? Are they ever gonna move in together? Will she ever stop twitching? What's going to happen to Amanda and Jeff? Will they get married? Will Babs find a man? Will she get drunk one night and have sex with Marcos? Where's Chelsea gonna end up? Besides being bitter. Is she gonna get better? Bitter and better? I'm not sure. I'm just hoping that we can get a little bit of a wrap up, maybe a recap at some point in the future. Write me a blog, who knows? But that was Princesses Long Island. That was the season finale. It was a good run on Bravo. And thank you for watching this video. Remember, subscribe to this channel, like this video if you like this video, like this video if you dislike this video, write some comments, share with a friend, and come back and see us for our other videos. And follow us on Twitter @PegAndDez. Goodbye.